Okay, so I just got back into Rise using Steam. You can see I logged off, logged on, and oh, somebody else logged on. Well, I'll say hi to them in a moment. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you basically the trip I just took from Dios to my rear mine, but I'm going to do it the reverse direction. I'm going from the rear mine to Alphaville. Doing it in an E11 so that put to bed all the discussion about aerodynamic heating and so on and so forth. I just landed and I only have 18 degrees, 18.3 C. Okay, let me load up some cargo. 6-1. All one. Yes, I have it set as a macro on my joystick in mode 3. Don't worry. Okay. Let's check to make sure I actually got everything loaded. Yep. Very red. 12 tons of fuel. I only have 12 ton because I came up here with 27, flew, put 5 here in case I need some, and now I only have 12 left. Okay, waypoint is the airport I just landed at, which is a good thing because it's now going to become my last waypoint. What's the importance of that? Oh, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's see, I want to head to Alphaville Town Hall. Okay. Close the cargo doors. 0. Make everybody happy. And now we're ready to take off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, and I'm going to do several cheats per se. I'm forcing the autopilot to do what I want it to do versus what it wants to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, bring the engines up, raise the gear because I have positive rate, turn the autopilot on.
Struts retracted.
Heading nav. Okay, let's let it get everything stabilized. I don't need the headlights
Landing
anymore.
lights deactivated.
Everything is good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get out of the heat quickly and accelerate. I'll shut the autopilot off, pull back on the nose, and get on the F9. Well, in my case, the top hat. F45, I turn the wing leveler back on in roll pitch, and it will try and hold my wings level. And now I'll use the side thrust to keep the nose on course. Ain't that cute? When I get climbing high enough, what will happen is I will be flying faster than the ship can accelerate, and I'll have to start using the top hat or F9 to bring the vertical back up so I don't stall the wings. I want to get over 100 kilometers, because right now it's cold, TAT is cold, airframe has actually dropped what, almost 2 degrees climbing through that through those clouds. Don't worry, it'll start up, the TAT will start climbing up in a little bit. Oh man, I forgot to tell you. Hi, I'm Bill. You've heard of me, you know me. Raina. Let's see what and Velsamania didn't stick around for me to type to them. I took too long talking to you guys. Sorry, Vel. Okay, we're climbing. about now is when I would normally turn on iHeartRadio or something like that.
Passing sound
Winamp,
barrier.
something to play the music. I'm going to tell you some of the other keys that I have mapped on my joystick that I'm going to be using in a little bit. Did you know, well, most people don't, the E's, as in the E10 and the E11, the P13, the Prowler, and the Manx all have maneuvering thrusters. Those are the home and the end key. If you press the end key at any point while you're climbing, I mean, take a look right now, my longitudinal, I'm almost getting 1.2, which is a good thing. I press that and that jumps up to 1.4 because I'm using the thrusters. If I press the home key, that actually drops down, and it's time to get on the top hat to start bringing the vertical climb back into the angle I want. I'm trying to climb at about a 45 here. That's my wife coming in. Hi, making a video. Well, that's okay. So I just randomly tap it to keep myself climbing at about a 45-degree angle. You'll notice that during this climb here, even though the TAT, the total air temperature, is jumping rapidly, the airframe temperature is kind of staying really slow. Now the E10, E11, and P13 can all do this exact climb profile. The Manx has better insulation but worse engines. So you can't do this. It just doesn't have the engines to do this. You have to take the heat and use the insulation and climb through the heat as fast as you can, but you're doing a similar thing, but normally at about a 30, and then once you get up to about here, you're down to about a 15-degree angle, trying to get out of that blasted heat. But fortunately, you have much better insulation on the Manx, which is a good thing. Okay, now my Q is down to 0, which means my wings are doing nothing for me. So I'm gonna lower the nose so that I am perfectly level, because since they're not doing anything, they can stall as far as I'm concerned. They can't do anything right now, help or hurt. Okay, we're pretty close to level here. That's good enough. Now, just before I get to the midway point, which it'll beep at me and tell me I've passed if I've done something stupid and like forgotten. Just before I get to the midway point, I'm going to just go straight from 100% thrust to 100% reverse. Why am I doing that? Because there's not enough time for me to get to orbital speed. If I was to get to orbital speed, it'd be a trip like to Bethlehem. There are other places like, oh, Canary stuff. That's far enough I could get to orbital speed. And then I'd have to take a look at the last and go, okay, it took me 1,300 kilometers to get to speed. That means at just about 1,350, I want to start slowing, or 1,400 is what I'd probably start slowing at. Now, this is a short trip. It's only, oops, I'm starting back down again. So now I need to get back on the top hat to keep myself above, well, anything from 115 to about 140. You're in the negatives of SAT, and you can actually open the door and cool your airplane, your spaceship, at this temperature, because there is nothing out there to hit the ship, basically. It's just radiating into the vacuum of space with the doors. You see that? It's at 15.6. If you give it about another 30 seconds tops, it'll be at 15.5, as long as I stay above 115. There it is, 15.5. before I go below 115, guess what? I have to have those doors closed, otherwise bad things happen. Now you can probably get down to 90 without really bad things, but anybody who knows me knows I'm a little cautious. Very cautious. Okay, I'm just randomly, if you look at the vertical there, you'll see when I put the thrust in, the top hat in, to bring that back to a positive number. And I'll just yo-yo up and down, going down to about 124, 123, up to 126. If I know somebody else is up here and they say they're at 120, then I may go up to 130. Come on, let's go back up. And AA now says 124.4, 125, 126. Okay. AA, of course, is altitude at aposis. And I will not call it aposis again. I will call it apogee because I'm just... apogee is what you call it around Earth, and, you know, that's where I've learned enough about orbital mechanics to understand what's going on here. And perisis is, of course, around an orbital body also, but I'll probably at some point say perigee, and everybody will go, "Oh, you made a mistake. It's periapsis." Oh, you know, I'm sorry. Okay, going back down again. So let's put the top hat on. Yes, I have the doors mapped to a button on my joystick. Yes, I have the trim for the autopilot. I have the trim for the trim. All mapped on various different buttons on my joystick. I love the X56. It's a good joystick. Okay, you see how the airport we left is 900 kilometers, and the waypoint, which is the city we're going to, is 1200 and change. When they both are in the mid, well, one's going to be about probably 1000, and the other one's going to be, well, here I'm getting close. And reverse engines. Now, if I hadn't done it early, I could have held the home key, and you see my braking now becomes 1.5 Gs instead of 1.3. There it is, 1.3. Now, we are going to keep this freight train, this ship, above 115 until we are well below 3, probably closer to 2.5, 2, somewhere in there. And I'm gonna just keep using this top hat to push myself back closer to on course, and also keep myself up nice and happy. By the way, you've probably been watching my airframe temperature and saying, he's cheating. He's down to 14.2 now. Well, yeah, because I'm radiating heat down into the vacuum of space, because it's minus 20 out there. That's why you stay between about 115 and 135. You can go as low as 110 and up to about 140 realistically, but I like to try and stay close to 120 and get really good radiant cooling and no friction. Okay. Let's see. Well, everything's looking good. But I take off with 12 tons of fuel and I'm down to 9. Probably gonna land with 8. I probably could have left extra fuel up at the rear mine, but I like a margin of error in case I get distracted listening to music, or my wife walks in and starts talking to me and I totally forget that I'm flying. Okay, you notice I'm under 3 and I'm at 400, so yeah, let's close the barn doors and start pushing the nose down. Well, I'm going to use the top hat to get us to start down faster because I want to make sure I'm relatively close to that nice 15 degree that I love so much. Why do I love it? It works. It works for me. Okay, let's push the nose over so we don't enter the atmosphere in a stall. Using the top hat side thruster, the lateral thrusters, to push myself back onto course because of course the planet's been rotating underneath me while I've been talking to and not paying attention that much. Now I'm just gonna keep, you can get the angle of the direction of flight just a little bit further than the crosshatch going up below you before you start getting into critical angles, and that's about all the further I like to let it go, so I'm gonna just keep bringing myself back towards that. See, my temperature's finally going back up again. 14 degrees. Yes, I am burning massive amounts of fuel to avoid paying the temperature penalties. If I wanted to, I could do a full-fledged atmospheric re-entry, but you know, then you end up sitting on the ground waiting for the ship to cool and you're muttering and cussing and saying, why'd I do something stupid like that, Bill? I'm going to keep the reverse thrust on until I get my ground speed right around 5.5, 6. Anything under 0.7 is realistically good. Okay. And yes, I am going to put the engines back in forward because
Forward thrust.
what's going to happen is I am going to eventually get down into the air deep enough that if I left them in reverse, I'd go, oh dear, I'm close to a stall, I better put the engines on. Step on the brakes. Yeah, sure, Bill. Let's cause that stall you're trying to avoid. Let's pitch the nose up a little bit and see if... Okay, we're actually flying. And now, once again, this is just a case of flying an airplane. I mean, right now, if I wanted to, I could stay at this altitude. Well, until I ran out of fuel. At this altitude and airspeed, I could stay here until I ran out of fuel, honestly. If I had fuel instead of air, I could refuel my ship and just stay here for hours. But we don't want to do that. We want to get to where we're going, don't we? But let's see. I took off with what? An airframe temp. I think it was what? 18 degrees, 18 and a half, somewhere in there. And it's just under 30. And I'm slowing down enough that I'm just about to the point where it's going to start cooling off again. Okay, I'm officially now to where I'm starting to cool the airplane. Well, spaceship.
Passing sound barrier.
Now, yes, I'm going to have to bring the thrust in, because here comes that nasty stall we were talking about earlier. What I'm going to end up doing is just bouncing the throttle up and down, and the nose just slightly up and down to try and keep myself just about on that glide right there, so that I come in at what Jason thinks is a suicidal angle, but I actually try and level off about 6 kilometers before, so I try and fly just a little bit below this, so that as I get closer, the target bug starts to creep up on me. So yeah, I don't go suicidal, but it's a dangerous approach. Realistically, it's not one that the FAA or United Republic Aviation Authority would smile upon, but you know, it works for me most of the time. I want to get just a little bit below that segmented circle there, so I can do a flare towards the end. I can turn it back to nav, obviously. Let it fly me there instead of me having to use the side thrusters. So we'll say what I started. Well, let's be mean. Say I started at 15, got up to 30. So that was a 15-degree spread, and by the time I land, I'm probably going to be back down to. Well, I'll be back down to the atmosphere temperature at Alphaville, which is at sea level. So I'll probably be 27, because I'm going down deep enough that it's actually going to start back up again. Yeah, let's take a look at the ground track here. Yep, zoom back in, Bill. You see? Dip, 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 dip. There's where I shut off and restarted it, and bip, bip, bip. I want to log in with Steam instead of direct, just because I wanted to make sure both were happy. Yeah, right now I'd be humming along to something on the radio. Only 40 kilometers out. See the SAT creeping back up? That's because I'm going down, down, down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring the engines in just a little bit to make it so I can level off just a little bit. Instead of being on a 15 down, now I'm closer to a 10. Looking good. Wonderful weather. Oh, nice thunder rumble. AGL indicator should start coming to life, and right there. Let's chase that just a little bit so that we're not looking like we're suicidal.
Aeolus Avis Romeo is now available. Wind calm. Visibility 10. 800 overcast. Temperature 16. Dew point 11. Altimeter 7766.
Struts extended.
So I don't forget to lower them early. And we can see Alphaville. Of course, it's still night, but we can see Alphaville. Okay, let's flying like we mean it.
One thousand.
So, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me, direct message me on the Discord server, call me out in game, pretty much anything other than use my name in vain. I could probably shut the autopilot off and fly this by hand, but why? It's doing such a beautiful job. See what I mean? I could have left more fuel up there. Oh well. Extra fuel in case I do something stupid, right? Okay.
Landing lights activated.
Now I know there are ships parked here, so let's see if we can find them.
500.
Eek. That was about where I was planning on landing. That's a bad thing. TVM on.
Store. Store. Pull up. Pull up. 100. 50. 20.
And we're here safe. No, we're not. I'm 1 plot to the north of where I wanted to be. I want to steal employees
30.
or workers off
20.
the town, so... Actually,
20.
I have to be on the town, so...
20. 10. 10. 10.
There we go. I'm gonna post this and you guys have fun.